Hey JAZBEAR, it's kind of cold today, so we're gonna knock these push-ups out real quick. I think we gotta do 12 today, so that's what we're gonna do. Are you ready? All right. We'll do one more. All right. I love you, JAZBEAR. Yay! Hi, JAZBEAR. How are you doing? Today we have a story that your great-grandma, my mom, wrote about me. So it was when I was a little girl. Would you like to hear this story? Okay, well, I'd like to tell it to you. It's been a long time since I read this story, so I'm going to be surprised just like you are. When Grandma was a little girl, me. I want to share your Gma's first day of school with you since it was a long time before you were born. Your Gma was a beautiful little girl with hair so blonde it was called platinum. It shined so pretty. She had a beautiful smile, kind of like yours, but more like Mama Sarah's. She had puffy little cheeks, probably because she chewed so much gum. She also used to puff up her cheeks to store all the air in the world. She seldom walked. She ran everywhere she went, with Grandma hanging on for dear life to her hand. Her eyes would just shine as she discovered everything. School was going to be a wonderful adventure for her. She wore a light blue dress that had pretty little flowers on it. There were yellow, blue, and pink little daisies all over that dress. She had patent leather shoes that were so shiny that you could see your face in them like a mirror. She had a lacy underslip that made her dress stand out, and ruffled underpants. She had 2 blue barrettes and a ponytail all tied up with a special holder, and around it was a thin blue ribbon. You're older than your mom was when she started school. Your mom was only 4 years old. She could already spell her name and write it. She knew all her numbers to 20, and she knew her address and phone number. She also knew she had a sister in the 1st grade. She thought that if she didn't like it in her class, she could just go on over to her sister's class. That's what I thought. I thought I could just go to my sister's class. Why not, right? Nope. We walked to school that day as we didn't have a bus, and your great-grandpa needed the car as he worked way out in the desert near El Paso, Texas. It was a nice walk. It was about the distance to the clubhouse and back. So we used to live by a place that was a clubhouse, and it wasn't that big of a walk. It was probably about 10 minutes there and 10 minutes back. We had to cross a big ditch that later your mom could run down into and up the side, getting real dirty. I dressed her up real pretty, and she'd play like any tomboy at school. When I'd walk down to meet and walk home with her, she'd look like some little street person, all dirty, face smeared with dirt, maybe a skinned knee with one clean place, and that was where the Band-Aid went. Her ribbon would be gone. Oh my goodness, this is true. Her ribbon would be gone, and her hair was a mess. Usually, the dress belt would be untied. She'd see me and her eyes would light up, and all Grandma saw was that pretty smile she'd have for me. Grandma would have a washcloth in a plastic bag all wet and ready to wash her face. I'd retie the ponytail and we'd walk home while she and your great Aunt Diane would tell me all the special things they did that day. It usually involved your mom tossing some boy off the swing because he had been on it long enough, or the loss of a barrette as it just fell off. I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's go back to that first day. We walked to school in the morning just as your great Aunt Diane and your great Aunt Peggy and your mom. We let great Aunt Diane with her teacher, and we walked back to the house. We had to do this every day. Your great Aunt Peggy was too little to go to school, and because your mom was so young, we had to send her to school in the afternoon. We'd come home and it would be a million questions time, as your mom would not understand why she couldn't go to school in the morning like your great Aunt Diane. I guess I really wanted to go to school. Finally came time for your G-Ma to go to school, and she had decided after getting dressed and fighting it all the way that she would not go to school the first day. I had to nearly drag her all the way to school. When she got to the school, and the sweet old lady that would be her teacher took her hand, she all of a sudden became the terror no mom wants to see. She sat her little bun down and jerked her hand from her teacher's hand and began to scream at the top of her lungs. That was a loud yell. I want my mommy! I want my mommy! I want my mommy! I held her real close and dried her tears. I spent a good 15 minutes talking to her. She smiled and I led her into the classroom. She sat down in her little chair and the teacher told me I could leave. I started towards the door and this monster from Kmart leaped out of that chair and bounded toward me, yelling, "Don't leave me! Don't leave me!" The teacher told me to leave and everything would be fine. I walked out the door and stood looking at your mom, squished up against the glass, faced with tears streaming down her eyes. I opened up the door and an angry-looking teacher who was thoroughly disgusted in your grandma. The teacher was angry at me and disgusted. I took my baby in my arms and I assured her I would be outside all the time she was in school and she'd be able to see me. She calmed down and I went outside. The great Aunt Peggy and I spent the afternoon picking up rocks and swinging in the swings, all in view of your grandma, your G-Ma. We all walked home together from school. We were a team then and still are. It was just great grandma and her girls against the world. I only had to go to school for 3 whole days till your grandma decided that school was going to be a fun place and she didn't need me there anymore. I'd have gone all year if she needed me. Great grandma wound up the room mother for your grandma's room, for my room, and eventually president of the PTA for her school. This way I had a legal reason for being there to see no one interfered with my babies. That little girl you call Grandma was one of the best students the teachers ever had, because once she started to learn, there was no stopping her. She was so very smart, and I am very proud of her. She doesn't need her mommy to be there all the time. It will be your responsibility to teach Sarah some of the things you learn, so when she goes to school, she will do well. So this story was written for your Uncle Will to tell your Mama Sarah, to teach her some stuff so when she goes to school. And it says, share with your mom all the neat things you learn in school and also ask any questions you need answers to of her. She is like great grandma. She loves her little ones and is there to help any way she can. I hope you've enjoyed this story of your grandma's first day at school. It is one of the special memories I keep stored in this head of mine. You want to know something? I was only 4 years old when that happened. And you know what? I remember it. I remember it. And what she said was exactly what happened. I remember I did not want her to go. I was so scared. I said, don't leave, Mom, don't leave, please. And she stayed out on the playground for me. And then once I got used to school, I liked it so much. And there was another little boy that was crying, and he sat on the teacher's lap. When I saw him sit on the teacher's lap, I thought I was a big girl. I was like, oh, I'm a big girl. I don't need to sit on the teacher's lap, because I never sat on the teacher's lap. And I thought, wow, he's kind of crying a lot. And it kind of was like, oh, I don't want to do that. So that was kind of a funny story. I have not read that story in a long time. I haven't even remembered that. I hope you enjoyed it, JAZBEAR. I love you so much. You're going to be going on another age really soon. And I'm very proud of everything you're doing. I am. And I appreciate you very much. And Mama Sarah does too. She appreciates everything that you do and how you keep on trying to do good like she asked you to do. I love you so much, JAZBEAR. Are you practicing your winks?